You probably still remember on the first worksheet, we had two questions about the basketball tickets. Um, they are questions number 3 and number 4. Okay, and in question number 3, we said that when the price of the tickets decreases, then we see the quantity demanded would increase, leading to a movement along the demand curve. In question number 4, because of the financial crisis, basketball fans' income decreases, so that the demand for basketball tickets decreases as a result. On the graph, we find there was a leftward shift of the demand curve. Over there, you probably get confused about when or where we're supposed to move along the curve, when and where we're supposed to shift the curve. This is actually the most challenging place in this chapter. Okay, and this is exactly why I would like to give you that TERNIP thing. Okay, because that will help us a lot in terms of figuring out the difference between change in quantity demanded and change in demand. Okay, now if there's a change in price of our good, P, here delta is a Greek letter, it means change. Okay, if there's a change in price of our good, then we're gonna see a change in quantity demanded. On the graph, there should be a movement along the curve. Here we said the existing demand curve. That means you don't have to produce a new curve. Okay, we're moving along the existing one. If there's a change in any of the other 5 factors, such as taste, expectation, related goods, number of buyers, and income, if any of them change, we're supposed to change demand. And on the graph, we're supposed to shift the demand curve. Okay, so here, let me try to produce a flow chart for you. What we just went through is just a plain English version. Okay, now here I want to give you a flow chart so that later when you deal with these examples, hopefully it could be more straightforward. Okay, now let's write TERNIP this way: T E R N I, and put P here a little bit further to the right. Okay, as we just said, if the price of our good changes, we are supposed to change quantity demanded. Okay, and of course a higher price leads to a lower quantity demanded, and a lower price leads to a higher quantity demanded. Okay, on the graph, we're supposed to move along the curve. So you should see a movement, okay, along the curve. All right. If there's anything changed among these 5 factors, we're gonna see a change in demand. In other words, we would end up with a new relationship between price and quantities. Okay, and on the graph, what we're gonna see is a shift of the curve instead of a movement. Okay, more specifically, you would find that if the demand goes up, then we're supposed to shift it to the right. Okay, if the demand goes down, we're supposed to shift it to the left. Okay? In other words, rightward shift means more, and leftward shift means less. Okay? Now here, let's take a look at several quick examples on this worksheet number 2. Okay, and see how are we supposed to apply the TERNIP or that flow chart to real-world examples. Okay. Now here, question number 1, car insurance and cars are complements. If the price of the car insurance increases, then what's going to happen? Okay. Now, the first thing we need to figure out is which one is our good. Here we get two goods, car insurance and cars. How could we know which one is our good? Now, technically, it should be quite simple because you can just check out all of these statements. You would find that all of them are about cars. So the cars must be our good. Okay. Now, here, if the cars are our goods, then the car insurance would be the related goods, right? More specifically here, the complements, okay? So here, what we would say is if the price of the complements goes up, okay? Now, in our TERNIP, here, that means R, right? Here, R changes, so it leads to a change in demand. Okay, so it got to be demand for cars would go down. Okay, because now the bundle, which includes car insurance and cars, becomes more expensive. Okay, so people are less likely to buy cars. The demand goes down, and then, as we just said, leftward shift means less. So we're shifting the demand curve to the left. Now let's check out the answers. So demand for cars decreases. So A should be the correct answer. Okay. C and D, quantity of cars demanded. Again, this is not correct. Okay. The quantity of cars demanded would only change if the price of cars would change. Okay, but here the price of cars doesn't change, it stays the same. What has been changed is the complement or the car insurance price. Okay, so this is number 1. Okay, again, if you follow that flow chart, it should be quite easy for you to figure out the answer. Okay, now question number 2, number 3, and number 4. We are actually working backwards with this flowchart, because normally we will ask you to identify, which factor in TERNIP mentioned in the question. Like, the previous one, when we talk about the cars and car insurance, they are related goods, so it should be R, right? But in these questions, number 2, 3, and 4, we're actually working backwards because the question already tells you it's a movement on the curve or a shift. So you go backwards and figure out what could cause that graphical change. Okay. Now, for example, number 2, in the above figure, the movement from point A to point B reflects. Now here we know it's a movement, right? It's a movement, and we said that the only thing that could lead to a movement of the existing curve would be a change in quantity demanded, right? Now in this case, when we move from A to B, we find that, on the vertical axis, the price is lower, so the quantity demanded should be higher, right? And the only thing that could cause the quantity demanded to be higher is a lower price, okay? then we would find that here A is the correct answer. Okay, a decrease in price of pizza. Okay, B, an increase in the demand for pizza. Again, demand doesn't change. Both A and B stays on the same curve, so it's the same relationship, the same demand. Okay. C, an increase in number of people who eat pizza. Now here, this one, the TERNIP gotta be N, right? It's a number of buyers. So when there's an increasing number of buyers, then the demand would go up. Okay, this would lead to a rightward shift of the demand curve. But again, here in question, we're talking about the movement from A to B, right? And D here, an increase in the price of tomato sauce used to produce pizza. So this one, we're talking about production, not really consumption. Okay, so this is not relevant. And E, a decreasing number of firms producing pizza. Again, this is about the production. This is about the supply, okay, which we will discuss later. Okay, but remember, in the graph, we are talking about demand curve, not supply curve. Okay, so D and E are out. Now let's check out one more. Okay, number 3. In the above figure, the shift in the demand curve from D to D1 can be result of. Now from D to D1, we know this is a shift, right? The question already told us it's a shift. More specifically, this is a rightward shift. Okay, and we said that the rightward shift in demand curve is just a graphical representation of higher demand. Okay, and we said that when demand changed, the only thing that could cause this kind of change is one of these factors, the other 5 factors. Okay, so it could be T, E, R, N, I, right? It could be one of them. Now let's check out these ones. A, an increase in the price of pizza. This is not correct, right? If the price of the pizza goes up, as we said, the result should be the quantity demanded would be lower, right? And we're going to see a movement on the curve. B, an increase in price of the sandwich, a substitute for pizza. Now here, the substitute would be R, right? When a substitute becomes more expensive, then some people would stop purchasing pizza, stop purchasing sandwich, and switch to the purchase of pizza. So the demand will go up. Okay, so B is correct. All right. C, an increase in price of soda, a complement to pizza. So here, again, the price of the complement is higher, right? So the bundle, which includes soda and pizza, would be more expensive. So the demand for pizza, okay? The demand for pizza is going to go down. So we're going to see a leftward shift of the demand curve, which is not the case showing on the graph. Okay. D, a change in quantity demanded. Again, this is wrong. Okay, we said what has been changed is the demand. Okay, we got a new relationship. E, a decrease in income if the pizza is a normal good. So if the income decreases, we would expect that the demand for pizza would decrease as a result, and there should be a leftward shift on the graph. Okay, so this is not correct either. All right, now I'm gonna leave number 4 for you guys to check out. Okay, and if you do have any questions, we can talk about this during our online meeting. So here we already wrap up our discussion about demand, and in the next video we're going to step into the discussion